My morning routine in the kitchen has changed in the last month or so. And of course, with the seasons changing, that also affects our routine and what time we get up, and all of our habits change as well. Today I'm going to show you a really quick glimpse at what we do in the morning to get the day prepped and ready to go with lots of delicious food, so we don't need to worry about what's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner later on during the day. I started this morning with just finishing up all the dishes that were left last night. We always go to the skate park, and when we get home, sometimes the kids we all just get kind of tired and we don't want to finish the dishes. So I just spent some time in the morning finishing hand washing all of those, and it's time to make some breakfast. I have some really old bananas, like most of us do, and today I decided I needed to definitely use up those bananas. I'm not going to throw them away. I have made a pledge to use up all of our bananas no matter what. So no more throwing away old bananas. I'm just going to put it into something and use it whenever I purchase it. Before I go on to baking something with our almost rotten bananas, I'm going to start the bread machine. I have developed a total gratitude for this machine that my husband purchased for me. We're going to use this bread machine recipe book, and we're going to be making some basic bagels. Now I have had to adjust the flour amounts on here, but of course I figured that out. I've recently stumbled upon lots of videos talking about low-income homemaking, and although we are not low income, I definitely try to cut costs wherever I can just to help out, because everything is so expensive. Everyone has debt, everyone has school loans, so it is important for us in our household to be budget conscious, if you will, and I've definitely made this a priority in our lives. With that said, if you are looking for ideas to help cut costs any way possible, the best way is to make everything from scratch at home. It costs a fraction of the price to just make bagels at home, or make bread at home, make banana bread at home, make cookies at home. Anything baked, you can literally make it at home and it will cost a fraction of the price. I guarantee it is also way better and way more healthier for you. No preservatives, no colors, no dyes. Just make it at home. Growing up, I was also always a penny pincher, and that has stuck with me growing up and becoming an adult. I know how challenging it can be for low-income families to stretch their budget, especially with food prices rising everywhere. As much as the food prices are rising, we should not compromise our health by turning to processed junk. Instead, it's definitely a good idea to prioritize whole, fresh foods whenever possible, especially staples that can stretch across multiple meals. Think about it this way: if you don't invest in your food now, you may end up paying much more later with medical bills, and even more so, that's just the stress of dealing with illness. We've gone through this. We know how stressful it is when someone in our household is sick. Talking about my husband, Trey, he has suffered and is recovering from an autoimmune issue, and it's just not worth it. Trust me. With our bananas, we are making a chocolate baked oatmeal. I had a taste for sort of like a fudgy baked oatmeal, and that's what we're making. We love using this raw cocoa powder. It is the best. It has fiber, vitamin C, magnesium, rich in antioxidants, all sorts of good stuff. Paired that with our oats, our bananas, this is gonna create a really filling and delicious, really good for you breakfast. For low-income families, finding recipes that are both filling and nutritious can really make a big difference in managing your food costs. I do not have a recipe for this, but it is so simple to make. I just mashed up our bananas, added some water to it, some coconut sugar. We've also added some flax seeds in here for some fiber as well, some apple cider vinegar and baking soda and flour just to help it rise a little bit. And of course, we are going to use some oats. I find that prepping a pan of breakfast like this, where I can just throw it in the oven while I do other things, definitely help with our scheduling. The kids can come eat breakfast whenever they are done with their chores and washing up. And if we have leftovers, cool. We will have that for snack time as well. You can hear my bread machine in the background doing a kneading cycle for our bagels. Now, time management is one of my struggles in life, but I am trying to get better with it, so that's why I started the bread machine first, so that it can just do its thing while I'm making breakfast, and that way we are killing two birds with one stone, or like feeding two birds with one scone for those of you who are a little bit more if you guys want to be a little bit more ethical. We're not killing any birds here, but just saying. Now this baked oatmeal is going to go into our oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30-35 minutes or so until it is nice and set. Of course, when it comes to cooking, there's going to be more dishes, so I'm going to continue to wash up. I like to try to keep all of our dishes done just to keep our kitchen manageable at all times, because we're always in the kitchen, always cooking. Next thing we're going to be working on is just making a batch of rice. Now, I not only make rice for our family, but also to feed our dogs. So I like to keep a batch of rice going, and it only takes about, 20-25 minutes to make rice. So just get that done out of the way. It really helps with our schedule for the day, because I don't have to think about what we're going to have for dinner later on. Rice is there as sort of like the main starch, and you could just pair it with anything that you would like to make for dinner. If you've watched a lot of our videos in the past, you know that I am one to always cook once and eat for the rest of the day. And I love to do this because it really, really helps with busy schedules. If you are a work from home family or work from home mom, such as myself, you know that life can get hectic and we may have forgotten what time it is, and we need food on the table right away for lunch, breakfast, dinner, whatever it may be. Now, since my husband Trey has gone back to work in person, he used to work at home and now he has to go back to the office, I have already taken care of all of his food for the day, for breakfast and lunch for the day, for him to take to work. So I really need to just focus on myself and the kiddos at home who are homeschoolers. You know, our kids are athletes as well. So you can imagine how our schedules are always packed every single day. And so by implementing this routine, it's been working perfectly for our family. Most of the time, most of the days of the week, I do cook once, and then we will eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It saves time, it keeps everyone fed, and it just helps us manage the day more efficiently, and we don't have to worry about cooking throughout the day. Our baked oatmeal is out of the oven. It looks delicious and perfect. We're gonna let that cool for a little bit, and while we do that, we are going to get started on our bagels. Ever since we learned how to make bagels at home, we don't go out to buy bagels anymore. It is so delicious when you're making it at home. It's seriously so fresh and so good. And it's really so easy to make in this bread machine. We let the bread machine knead it and get it all mixed up, and now it's just time for us to shape the dough and get it boiling and baked in the oven. After a little bit of a debate here, whether we're gonna make biscuits or donuts or bagels or cinnamon rolls, we decided to just stick with it and just make some bagels. We rolled out the dough into a long sort of snake or cylinder shape, and we're just gonna cut them into pieces and then mold them and stretch them and stick a hole in it for the signature bagel look. A perk of having lots of kids is they are very involved in our kitchen. They help out a lot in the kitchen, so Mercy is rolling out the dough, and then Israel is going to be forming the bagels for us to bake.
Israel, your hands clean? Yeah. All right, make it like, so this is off.
No, they are, Mama. I can see
it in his hands. His hands are dry.
All right, it's time for chores, and we gotta go, Israel and Emmanuel. Come on. Oh, here.
As you've heard, I was trying to urge everyone to get some sense of urgency in here is really something I've been trying to instill and teach the kids, especially our teens and preteens, because they need to be more independent with their schoolwork and their chores so that they have an idea of what it's like to manage their own time. Emmanuel, our oldest 13-year-old, he is getting himself ready and conditioned to start basketball this season. And I want to make sure that he has all the nutrition and all the help that he can get to be successful in his goals. So I'm definitely here to support him all the way. While I'm working on the bagels with Israel and Mercy, Emmanuel is going to help himself to some baked oatmeal. This is when the kitchen gets really full, but of course with extra hands, I can divvy some responsibility and just get some help in the kitchen. So I'm going to start serving everyone breakfast. This baked oatmeal came out so delicious. It's nice and ooey gooey in the middle. It's so chocolatey and so delicious. I will have to write up a recipe for this because I would love to share it with you. So for those of you who are chocolate lovers, you are going to definitely want to make this. When I remake this and make a recipe for it, I will definitely let you know, and I will showcase it on our blog. So just check out our blog, highpath.com. All right, all the bagels are done. We are ready to boil them first. Now, in the recipe, we are to put some sugar into our boiling water, but today I opted out for it. You don't need to put sugar in there. I'm just going to drop our bagels right into our pot. And for some reason, some of our dough was extra sticky. I think it was just because Israel was using his wet, clean hands to make the dough, but that's okay. We just reformed it and put them into the pot as well. The bagels only need to boil for about 20 seconds in the water, and then we're going to put it on our baking sheets to get ready to bake. If you have a bread machine, or if you are looking into whether or not to invest in a bread machine, I highly recommend you watching a video that we just made comparing the two. Either bread made in a bread machine is better, or a handmade bread is better as well. We also have a full blog post on this, so check out the links in the description. I never thought that we would make bagels at home, and making this one of our staples. It is so easy to make in this bread machine, or if you have like a standing mixer, you could use that as well to just knead the dough. It is so delicious. I will write the recipe in the description so you can check that out to make your own bagels. I have asked the kids whether they like homemade bagels or the store-bought bagels, and this is not just store-bought bagels. These are bagels that we purchase at a local bakery. I asked them if they liked the homemade ones or the bakery bagel shop bagels, and they prefer this one. So it definitely won the hearts of our kids, and it won my heart as well. I don't mind making these. These are, like I said, so easy. I wouldn't make it if it took too long or if it was just too labor intensive. Also, if you make homemade bagels, you can top it with anything that you like. If you like everything but the bagel seasoning on it, if you have sesame seeds, which we're going to use today, you can make it sweet, you can make it salty, and it pairs well with anything. We're going to bake this at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes until they are done. Everyone is now enjoying breakfast, while lunch, the bagels are going to be prepared for lunch, and then we've got rice for dinner tonight as well. I do want to mention that this baked oatmeal is actually really easy to just kind of put together yourself. So if you do, top it with that peanut butter. Oh, it is so good. I had to come for seconds. Our freshly baked bagels are out of the oven. Look how perfect and beautiful they look. When you boil these, they actually look really ugly and wrinkly, but when you bake them, it turns out really pretty and almost like store-bought bagels. It's perfect. Now the bulk of our baking and cooking are done for the day. We can ensure that we had breakfast, leftovers for snacks, lunch with our bagels, and dinner ready to go. We're gonna run all of our errands at the grocery store, to the library, and we're gonna come back to food already made. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you loved this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.